I got a couple cool things to tell you. in the team Calais going for 4 hours, one thing that birthed for me was this thing that I'm doing that I've probably told you about. I am getting so much out of my time with God. I have to tell you, it's the greatest thing I've ever experienced in my entire life, other than having a daughter and doing a bunch of other really cool things in my life. But this is really crazy because it's like it exponentially is changing like every hour. So, what I call my time with God, just so you guys have this as an inspiration for you, is where I allow myself to be completely uninterrupted by anything that could go into my mind. So I give myself a certain amount of time, 3 hours, 4 hours, where there's no any phone, any internet, dialogue with anyone else, no book, no content, no music, anything. This is my thing. And it's changing my life because I know there's an intelligence that's beating my heart and it's always causing me to expand. And so this intelligence is usually screwed with because we're checking the physical world all day and seeing what's going on with everything else and interrupting the natural flow that's trying to move us to the highest dimension of ourselves. So one thing I noticed in that the clients that I'm working with in one-on-ones, they're starting to do it too. One of my clients, she and I were talking and I took notes based on what she said today. But I'll tell you guys a little bit. She said in her third hour that she noticed it all happened in the third hour. If you do this, try it without interrupting it for the first 2 hours, right? If you even one quick check of the phone an hour in suddenly fills your mind with what's going on outside of you, right? So she noticed that for this to work, you have to actually get to the third hour for this to really start to do really crazy stuff. So she said, in the third hour, I was floating and I felt very supported. I felt seen and connected to God, connected to herself. Everything will happen. There's nothing I should control. I'm one with the universe. I have a total new confidence. One thing she said that was amazing is I find that I don't have to make anything happen. Really hear that sentence. That nothing has to happen. She goes to some energy where things start happening around her connection versus her ego that's kind of separate from the body, thinking that it does everything, which actually caused her to ask the question, is there even a me at all that exists? Because what we call me is the effort that we use when we feel not connected to source. That's what me is, right? Me, what do I do? How do I get there? What am I supposed to do, right? So one of the reasons this was such a big deal for her was she ended up finding a connection to herself that was bigger than any relationship or desire for someone to like her than she had ever had. So think about everything measured outside of you. Notice on a scale of 1 to 10 how much it matters to you, right? Does that person call me? How much money's in the bank, right? Whatever. Did I lose my job? On a scale of 1 to 10, what's that number? And then the next question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your connection to yourself? If the number for outside is bigger than the number of the connection to yourself, your job is to up your connection to yourself until it goes past the desired thing. So if you really hope someone's calling you, okay, that person means more to you right now than your connection to yourself. So you're going to feel total abandonment stuff. You're going to feel they could leave. You're going to feel, what if they don't love me? You're going to feel all these things, right? So your job is, when you feel I'm going to go totally broke, what could happen? Your job is to find a connection to yourself that's bigger than your connection to your bank account, whether it's in the major positive or major negative. And I find that when I listen to God long enough and I don't interrupt the flow, okay, I get to a place in my third hour and sometimes my fourth hour where I am completely held. And here's where I get really trippy and nuts to everybody. The world is taking my memory of the idea of who I was out of my body. Are you getting this? And it's actually changing reality around me. It's actually creating the match to me doing the work. See, most of us think we're in response to the world, that the world is doing all this stuff to you. But what if it's actually the world is mirroring your connection to it? I mean, that's what a dream is, right? A dream is when you have stress and then you create a false world of people and land and everything. And then that, if your day is bad, your dreams are bad. So what if this whole thing is also a dream, right? And what if your connection to yourself changes the dream? What if it changes the world? What if there are, like Bashar would say, billions of different worlds per second you could go into? What if there's a world where there is no coronavirus and you could actually have your memory of the world of coronavirus wiped out from you and you go there as if you've already lived there? This kind of shit is showing up for me right now, and it's blowing my mind out of the water because I'm like, reality was nothing that I thought it was. And this is higher than 5D. This is like 60, 70 stuff where you start to see the world's mirroring me. But if my entire life I've been connecting to the world and saying that the world is the thing that runs me, then the world goes, your wish is my command. You are run by the world because that's the energy you're putting out. So what if in the 4 hours a night that I'm listening to myself, I'm discovering this different thing because all these synchronicities are showing up in my life and it's making everything taken care of in every area in ways I never thought of. I mean, obviously, if you understand the abundance that you are a safe space for other abundance to come into you, into your life, right? But if you say that, you know, someone really wants to give you something huge and you don't have a connection to yourself big enough to receive it, you're going to sabotage that thing because it's too big for you. You're going to think, what do they want from me? There must be another agenda. You know, if someone gave me $1 million, I'm like, what's the problem with this? Okay, what do they want from me? They want something. This is our job, to connect to a level where we are the source of our happiness, and life will start giving you full-on magic. And one thing, I made a video last night or yesterday and we put out that I want to remind you of is, one thing people are doing a lot right now is pointing out how many people are waking up. And that's true. But we're also still in reaction to the world versus going, I run this. What am I? And so my question to you is, what are you doing with this? Right? Because even though the world's waking up, we can sit back and watch the world wake up as a way to not do anything. We can be like, yeah, the world's got it. It's waking up. Or are you watching your dream, feeling complacent enough about your dream that you're not taking advantage of this whole thing is run by you? So I need to reflect that to you, because my desire to connect to God on these 3-4 hours a night thing came from Kalegoing. It came from my team and I Kalegoing for 4 hours, which came from one of the calls 2 weeks ago that we had. 2 weeks ago, we had a call and I Kalegoed that the team Kalegoed for 4 hours. In the 4 hours, this desire for me to really see what I am formed. And now I'm accessing a consciousness that I've never seen before in my entire life. I'm seeing synchronicities everywhere. I'm seeing people saying the thing that I said. I'm seeing abundance in so many areas that I had no idea there was abundance, because you're looking at one thing. I'm seeing love on new levels. I'm seeing levels of love with myself on new levels. This is all available. So I'm excited about that, because that's something that I've gotten out of it, and it's become an entire lifestyle change for me. And it's a higher dimension. And I'm excited about it. And from there, like, I'm just so excited about what's forming. The people that, can we do 4 hours tonight? Well, I'm going to tell you, after this call, I go into mine. I turn my phone off. I do everything. I go for a walk in silence. I'm having this joy just listening to crickets for an hour. And like, that's more exciting to me than any accomplishment I've ever had. Like, it's blowing my mind, right? So, I'm excited about that. So that's just one of many announcements. And I hope that that inspires you, because there is not only a way out of anything that feels stressful in your life, but there's a way through it and to another side that you don't know. All of your pain is that you're playing at a lower vibration than you have to. All of your pain is that you're sinking yourself down and staying connected to the mediocrity, while your birthright is to be in a higher dimension. There's a place in you that's dying for something bigger. And then there's a part that our ego comes up with, yeah, but then I'll have to disconnect from my siblings, and you won't, by the way. You'll just love them so much more because you love you, and you're just not trying to complain with them or change them or anything like that. Everything that we're worried about, we forget that we are on this other side of it. When we aren't doing this, we're also creating everything we're worried about. Meaning, like, if I go into the abundance of what I am, I'm scared that I'll lose connection with everybody and I'll be lonely. Well, let me just point out, you've been totally lonely the other way. Like, let me just point out, even in a relationship, we've felt lonely. Let me just point out that it hasn't been working the other way. So every reason that you can come up with why you shouldn't go into the highest version of yourself, and for you, it might not be the 4-hour thing. This is my calling. Whatever calls to you is your thing. But whatever reason you can come up with why you shouldn't do it, I promise you, not doing it has been creating those things all along anyway. I'd love to go do that, but I don't want to just be lonely. Just so you know, you're lonely before. So why don't we try something new? I'm worried if I go to this high vibration, I won't make any money. Okay, were we making money before? Right? Just so I get it. Like, this is why we're on this planet, to find out what we are. And life has given us at least a month off. And I'm sure they're going to say 2 people left the quarantine early and we're going to redo it and we get May too. I'm sure we all know what they're doing. We know what's going on. They're going to be like, oh, Trump let him out too early. Texas is all sick. Everyone go back in. And you get another month of walking around in meditation, being in a high version of yourself, doing what you want. I don't know what's going to happen. But what if that turns out to be worth more financially? What if you lose your addictive patterns so you save a ton of money? What if it helps your health go through the roof because your cells and your DNA are different, right? Follow that highest calling. You're going to be fine, and you're going to create a world. It is proving itself foolproof to me. And it's showing me I run this, and I can tell you guys for sure, I'm getting evidence that you run it. And when you look from here, you're looking through the egoic pattern. And the egoic pattern's what's going to be shed the farther you go in. By the way, sometimes you go in there, it's really painful because it's going to cut into your egoic self and take out the old story of abandonment or pain or whatever. That's like that thing I talked about on, when you have a watch, I talked about this on the AEP call, and you get like 2 months in and you see this little bubble form and then it's like, turns out to be the cellophane sticker. And you're like so excited about, it's like the greatest moment because you're like, I've been looking at this shit. There's a way cuter watch under here. And you're like, oh, shit, look at this. That's the only thing that's scared of death, that's hurting. That's the only thing that's actually worried about losing money, about being abandoned, about never finding love. That's what it will purge when you listen to silence long enough. That's what goes. Are you guys with me so far? Are you getting, this is not you. This is, and you got layers of this stupid cellophane thing that's on your iPhone that you didn't realize was on your iPhone. But you know that moment when you see the bubble, you're just like, oh, there's a better looking watch under here and I had no idea. That moment right there, that moment when you see the bubble, that's what that pain is in your body. That's the bubble. It's going, just so you know, there's a lie here. It's going, I dare you to go to the highest level of yourself. That's what's available for you. And through different types of suffering that I've gone through and different things that all of us have gone through, the coronavirus, everything, I'm being forced to go to this dimension. You need this force and not the complacency of your mediocre story to keep you there, right? It's kicking us out of our bullshit and into the magic of what we are. And my dare to you guys is to access that. And that's what Kalego can do. You know, that's what Kalego can do. That's what being alone with yourself, letting it not interrupt the pattern. So excited to be with you guys tonight. Oh, and I should mention too, I don't know if this calls to you. We're doing a flow group, an online flow group where I'm working with 4 people Thursday and Friday. And I'm doing a bunch of one-on-ones in May. So if you're interested in that, please write info@kylecease.com. I'm filling my calendar for May. If anyone's interested, if you like that, wait till you work with me for 2 days. We're going to go really crazy. So if that interests you, we're putting shit together for that right now. And, you know, we'll make it work with you. We just want to do this with the people that want to do this. So I'm excited about this. I hope you are too. And you get tonight to do this. And I want to also announce that we're doing a meditation on Sunday, a bonus meditation. So we have Joey tomorrow morning at 9. We have a Wednesday night AEP call and a Sunday morning meditation that we're doing. What time, Linz, did we say? I forget, 11 a.m. 11 a.m. Pacific. So that'll help people in Europe be able to come to, anyone else. It's a good time. We'll do a big meditation Sunday at 11 a.m. Sunday, not Saturday. And the flow group is Thursday and Friday. So we can take 2 people for that, I believe. It's a 4-person thing. Is you working with me and a teammate for 2 full days with a total of 4 people. And we will undo all the bullshit and go to a totally different dimension together. Totally exciting. So I love you guys. I'm honored to be with you guys tonight. I would love to offer you, since I know that the magic really forms in a longer version of Kalego, to have the courage to do a big ass, long ass version of Kalego tonight. I find that the magic of Kalego really kicks in 40 to 50 minutes. Some really good stuff happens. You know when it kicks in? When you want to stop and you don't. Guess what wants to stop when you're Kalegoing? This thing. Your pattern wants to stop. Your story that says, this is the amount of creativity that I can go to. That thing wants to stop. And when you just let it be peeled off by you completely still going, you find the magic of major stuff on the other side. There is an infinite amount of magic and power for you. I do not care what your circumstance is. I don't care if you're $1 million in debt, have no idea what your job is going to be, have no idea what your love life's going to be. None of that shit matters compared to you connecting to yourself. Are you guys with me and ready to have an amazing night tonight?